first off, the energy that I'm picking up for you guys is I feel like this is a very direction oriented type of a week. I see a lot of crossroads. I see a lot of like, fork in the roads. Do I take path A? Do I take path B? I see you being inundated by decisions and choices. And I see you seeking guidance, from other people, internally, even for some of you, as to which path to take. So it's a major kind of like a crossroads type of a week. And it's really important that you understand, where you've come from, learn from past cycles, learn from patterns in your life from the past, and erring on the side of, taking the path that hasn't been taken before. Okay. So it's like reviewing. It's almost like watching your life, kind of like as a video playing in front of you, the movie reel, watching it, and then figuring out, okay, I did that before and it didn't, give me the outcome that I was hoping for. So this time I'm going to do things differently. So aiming to do things differently, aiming to take a different path, that's going to be very crucial as we navigate the energy for this week. The first card that I have here is the Knight of Coins, the Knight of Pentacles. Once again, I see you kind of like at a standstill in the middle of the road, okay? And you're at a point where obstacles are not really in front of you. It's all about free will. So there's nothing physically restricting you, restraining you. You're not tied down to any specific course. No one is really forcing you to do anything. And I feel like this card indicates stagnation. Wanting to break away from the stagnation, but not knowing how to do so, and also fearing, like being very risk adverse and not wanting to make the decision that will kind of force you out of your comfort zone. The messages linked up with this card here, it indicates a time where there is a lot of internal conflict, being pulled in different direction. I see a lot of fear. And I'm feeling for many of you, it's like I've worked so hard at it. So I'm, preparing myself to walk down this path. But I've worked so hard and I feel like I've already mastered everything. So walking down this path, does it really contribute anything more? So I feel some of you have worked really hard at a specific project, at a specific thing in your life. And at this point, the passion and the joy that you came to it with is no longer there. So you're thinking about taking a different, like deviating from whatever you had planned to take a different course of action. Some of you are contemplating major career changes as well. And some of you, I feel, it's like there has been too much sunk cost. I've invested too much. So if I take a different path, there's a lot of risk and uncertainty associated with it as well. So I feel like you're reassessing the situation and you're reassessing whether or not it is wise to continue on the same path because the passion is no longer there. But you've invested so much time and resources and energy that you feel compelled to continue forward, but it's really not in alignment with what your heart wants. So I see this internal conflict playing out. I also feel at this point, it is really important for you to think of life as not so much as a destiny where we're supposed to be, but more as, an experience. Everything that you have been through and everything that is laid out in front of you, they all serve as opportunities to learn new things, to learn more about ourselves, to test our capabilities, and to really get to know ourselves. So don't look at it as, a series of decisions to get me to from point A to point B, but more like the path that meanders and that will allow me to have a lot of stimulating, exciting experiences and allow me to grow as a process. So it's not so much about the destination. It's more about just the experience, the process of going through things and the process of making decisions when we are guided by our heart so that our heart can steer us in the right direction. So I see a lot of indecisiveness coming through for you guys. I feel like you have a vision of what success means to you, and this is based on what other people have told you what success means. This has been based a lot more on, the practical reality. You see people on TV, you see people in, magazines, you see people on social media, you see people on those TED Talks, and they tell you, success is like this, success is like that, but it doesn't really jive in with your vision of success. You want to be emotionally happy with the work that you do, and I feel like for many of you, yes, money is important, but I feel like you don't want to be a slave to it, and so you're reassessing what success and material success really means. The second card coming into the picture here, we have the Four of Swords. And I believe it was Gemini that got this card in the same position. Okay, so if you have Gemini in your chart, you might want to look at the interpretation for that. But what I'm feeling is being plugged in to too many people telling you what to do, too many people giving you their ideas, consulting too many people, and now you're just very, very confused because the information that's coming through for other people might not be appropriate for your situation. They are other people. They're not you. They're not living your reality, and they're not living your life. So it's very easy as an outsider looking in to tell people what to do. But you're the one living your reality, and you're the one that have to, live with the consequences and have to live with the outcomes of your decisions. So you kind of need to center yourself, listen to your heart to make these decisions. What I feel for some of you is there might be some legal issues where you're consulting too many people on. There might be a lot of expectations externally from other people coming to you to play mediator, to be the objective middleman, to assess a situation objectively. And I feel almost like you're being put in a situations where you have to pick sides. You might be caught between two feuding parents, siblings, co-workers, friends even. I see a couple that's arguing and you're caught in the middle. And I also feel like, where does my loyalty lie? So I feel like loyalties are being tested. And I also feel like, once again, make these decisions from a space of your own personal integrity, from your own heart, rather than what people expect from you. Okay? The next card is the Three of Swords. This is a card about harsh words that divide two people. It's like a wedge that drives between two people, separation between yourself and a person that you really care about. And also, it signifies to me some type of a breakup as well. Associated with this card is, I feel like you're trying to communicate with somebody and you're not getting a response. I feel like the other person has a lot of things that they're assessing in their lives, and the feelings still flow between you and them, but they're at a point where they need to sort out their feelings and they're not able to respond to you the way that you'd hope. I also feel there's an argument between you and another person that's quite significant, like a love relationship partner. And it boils down to the fact that one person expects more from the other person. So there's this perpetual conversation. It keeps coming back up. It was talked about last month. It was talked about the month before. And every month it keeps cycling back up. And I feel like it's more about who is doing what in the relationship. Are you doing enough? Is the other person doing enough? And it's like two people who are constantly running in circles, keeping scores with each other. I'm also feeling as well, for some of you, you were trying to manifest a relationship with another person. There's great chemistry. There's really, really strong emotional connection between you and that person. And I also feel like somebody has another person, like a third party. So I see three people. And I'm feeling like this is not, if you are the third party, it's not news to you that the other person's already attached. It's not news at all. And I feel like you were hoping that they might leave their partner. You were hoping that, things might turn around differently. And you were hanging on to the situation because you were hoping it will get better. For others of you, I feel like you're in a relationship with somebody and you might be with somebody else. So you might be the one juggling two options. And the other person is not willing to let you go because they really feel very strongly about you. And I feel like, once again, that crossroads, making a decision, picking sides, and walking down one path might negate the other path. It might rule out the other possibility. So the choices that you're making for this week, it is very, very important. The third card that I have here, the fourth card, the Nine of Wands. This person's heart chakra is very open. This is somebody that has been through a lot of hardships in his or her life. There's an imagery of the tree, so I feel like it's somebody who's a very old soul. They've been through a lot of pain, a lot of trauma in their past. They're not playing the victim. They're not sitting there sulking and, wallowing in self-pity. They get up and they move on with their lives. This is coming in, I feel, as a little bit of a spiritual advice for you to kind of break away from it and don't fall victim to it. Be empowered as a result of everything that you've been through, but learning from the past so we don't make the same mistakes. The messages associated with this card is to move away from situations that are painful, to move away from people that are not appreciative of everything that you have to offer, to move away from situations where you are wedged in the middle between two feuding parties, and to move away from situations where you might be a third party, to reform our actions and our behaviors so that they are more in alignment with our higher self. Kind of like that imagery of the tree. The tree faces a lot of adversity, like inclement weather, severe weather, and everything that it faces allows its branches to be stronger, allow the trunks to fortify itself, and allow it to stand upright and stand tall. And so it's sort of like that. The imagery of the tree and everything that you have been through creates the person that you are today. There were no accidents or, mistakes. But if we find ourselves in the same cycle where we constantly get hurt, where we constantly look for the wrong relationship partners, or seek people who are not physically or emotionally available to us, then we're not really living the lessons. We're reliving the karma and reliving past mistakes. So it's really urging you to move forward. And I feel like I just get this message of somebody's not leaving their marriage. Somebody's not leaving their marriage. For those of you married couples, like married relationships, or even, relationships where you are sharing space with another person, I feel like there will be more harmony. There will be more, like the energy is going to be smoothing itself out, but it requires a lot of work from both parties. Not that is impossible, but I feel like it requires a lot of self-awareness from both parties. You have come to your own realization, your own self-awareness, where you are thinking about, mistakes you might have made and aiming to do it better. And then the other person might be kind of behind the curve where they're not at a point yet where they're reflecting on themselves, how they have contributed to the situation to cause the, falling out. So they're still, at a point where they're blaming you. But I feel like sooner or later, they're going to come to the realization that it takes two to tango, and that, you're not all to blame, but they're not there just yet. So whatever harsh feelings that you've had right now, just kind of detach yourself and try to move away from it. And when the other person is ready, you will hear from them. Okay? The last card that I have here is the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups, in this depiction, it is greatly about, waiting for love to come in. Where is my soulmate? Where is my one true love? Where's the person that will complete me? Where's the person that I've been longing for? I feel for many of you, there is a long distance relationship here, and you're trying to bridge the divide. So the person might not be completely, constantly in your vicinity, and you're going out and you're distracting yourself with other options, with even friends, with social engagement and things like that, because they're not around and you're waiting for them to come around. And then for others of you, there might have been a recent heartbreak, and so you're kind of drowning your sorrows. You're getting out and about and you're trying to have fun, you're trying to forget. But I feel like the emotional connections that you are having with other people, it seems like it's a little bit more on the superficial end. Like it's just fun and games, but there's not a lot of substance associated with it. I see some of you going out and having a really good time, being the life of the party and having a lot of people around you. But deep down, I see this sense of loneliness, this sense of isolation. Like everything it's done under false pretenses. Like it's just fun, I just want to be around people. But at the end of the day, the emotional connections between you and others are not there. I'm also feeling as well. You might be dealing with a situation where the other person has a lot of options and you might be just one of the options. So please be very careful. If this is a perpetual thing, if this is an ongoing cycle, if you've seen this before, I feel like it's the same energy. Try to remove yourself away from that energy, okay, Cancers? I hope the reading is helpful. I hope, honestly, that not a lot of you are dealing with this. It seems to me like it's a little bit sad, and I hope that you are able to look at the options in front of you and take that path that you haven't taken before, okay? I feel like it's going to bring a lot more prosperity. There's a lot of fear here about venturing out into the unknown, and I feel like you kind of need to bite the bullet and just do it, okay? I would advise you as well to kind of listen to your intuition on this and not listen to the advice of other people, and especially asking people over and over and over again, because they're validating, they're not validating what you need to do. They're validating what they feel you should do, but they're not really living your reality.